All new at 5:30, why the House will have to now re-vote on the tax bill. Also, a financial expert joins me live to go over who benefits the most in New York State and who could be hurt by the bill.
And a cold front bringing you just a few light showers across western New York tonight, but the temperatures are set to drop for the next couple of days. I'll let you know if that comes with any snow coming up in your 4-1 forecast.
And a state trooper seriously injured on Long Island has a connection to western New York. Good evening, everyone. I don't know about you, but I stayed away from the older trees today, fearing those strong winds would blow them right over. This right now is a live look over downtown Buffalo. The camera is still shaking right now, Andrew. Is that wind advisory still in place, and what are your concerns tonight?
Well, the worst of the wind, I do believe, is certainly over at this point. We still have those advisories. We're not out of the woods yet. It's an awfully blustery evening. If you're heading home or heading out to dinner, make sure you check the Christmas decorations that they're still up, because we had some strong winds earlier this afternoon. Highest wind gust I've seen, 55 miles an hour at the Buffalo airport. Awfully blustery out there. But now we're watching a cold front moving through western New York with just a few light rain showers in the southern tier right now, but temperatures will be falling behind that. We've still got that wind advisory for another hour and a half for all of western New York, with the exception of Cattaraugus and Allegheny counties. But as I mentioned, strongest of the wind gusts are behind us. We still have some gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour around Buffalo, but not quite at the damaging range at this point. And we'll continue to see that breeze continuing for the next few hours. Again, the advisories end at 7 o'clock. Still going to be a bit blustery overnight. But as the wind shifts out of the northwest into tomorrow morning, the temperatures will be falling. Right now, we're still in the low 40s, so somewhat mild feeling for this Tuesday night. A few 30s showing up across the southern tier where we do have that front moving through right now. But temperatures will continue to fall this evening. We're back in the 30s close to midnight, back below freezing for tomorrow morning. We'll wake up, many of us, in the 20s. And because of all the recent snowmelt and a few showers out there right now, there is the potential for maybe some patchy, icy spots on the ground tomorrow morning. Got to watch out for that as you step out the door. So windy this evening. That breeze does back off just a bit. Spotty rain showers and then even a few spotty snow showers overnight. Shouldn't amount to much. Maybe a coating in the hills tomorrow morning, but nothing really to cause any problems for that Wednesday morning commute. Just watch out for a few icy spots on the sidewalks and perhaps on the roadways, again, with any wet roads out there. Coming up in your full 4-1 forecast, we're looking ahead. We've got another storm system on the way this weekend. I'll tell you what that means for your Christmas plans.
Andrew, thank you. New at 5:30, the Erie County Sheriff is thanking the public for helping them arrest 2 people suspected of stealing things from the Bon-Ton in the Eastern Hills Mall. Detectives arrested these two, 27-year-old Jamie Corden and 25-year-old Chelsea Jeffords, both from Buffalo. Deputies say they received reports that Jeffords was stealing things from the Bon-Ton. Deputies were also told Corden punched an employee in the parking lot before trying to leave the store. Both are charged with robbery causing physical injury and grand larceny. In Ellicottville, police are hoping this short surveillance video will help them find the person behind 2 home burglaries. Video shows a person going inside of a home and flashing a light. Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $1,000 to help identify this person.
He was setting a flare pattern when he was struck by an uninvolved motor vehicle, and as a result has sustained a head injury.
The state trooper injured on the job Monday is from West Seneca. That trooper, Joseph Gallagher, who was injured while helping 2 disabled cars on Long Island, is still in the hospital with a serious head injury. News 4's Jen Shantz tells us more about Trooper Gallagher and what state police are saying tonight. Jen?
Alina, Gallagher is relatively new to the job. He joined state police in 2014. He was assigned to Troop F and then to Troop T. He's been with Troop L, which covers Nassau and Suffolk counties, since January of last year. State police say Trooper Gallagher was assisting 2 disabled vehicles on an exit ramp from the Long Island Expressway to the Sagicos Parkway Monday afternoon, just after 3 when this happened. While assisting those cars, Gallagher was struck by another vehicle. State police said yesterday he had undergone surgery. 2 paramedics from the Suffolk County Police Department were on scene within a minute, state police say. They thanked those paramedics and credited them for saving Gallagher's life. Investigators believe this was an accident. It happened on what some describe as a dangerous curve on that parkway.
The trooper rolled up on these 2 vehicles. He pulled behind them. He started to set up a flare pattern, at which time 2 uninvolved vehicles observed the trooper. They veered to the right. 3rd vehicle did not see the trooper, veered to the left and struck the trooper.
At this point, no charges have been filed against that driver, whom state police say is cooperating. Gallagher remains at the Southside Hospital in Bayshore. We, of course, will keep you posted on his condition as we learn more. Live in the newsroom tonight, Jen Shantz, News 4 at 5:30.
After the House passed the Republican tax overhaul plan today, Democrats said that 3 provisions in the bill violate Senate rules and will be removed, forcing the House to vote on it again tomorrow. The vote tomorrow would reportedly clear the bill for President Trump's signature. We will be watching. By the way, the technical provision was revealed by Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Ron Wyden. Weijia Jiang is on Capitol Hill, where the original vote today isn't settling well with everyone.
On the table.
House Republicans call this vote a big win for the American people.
This is one of the most important pieces of legislation that Congress has passed in decades to help the American worker, to help grow the American economy.
The GOP's $1.5 trillion tax overhaul bill sailed through the House over the objections of a handful of Republicans. Protesters in the gallery.
The chair has detected a disturbance.
And every Democrat.
You know who this bill is going to help? Corporate special interests, the wealthiest Americans, and yes, the Trump family.
The final bill merges earlier versions from the House and Senate. It doubles the standard deduction and slashes the corporate rate to 21%.
We think it's a really big deal. We think it's the right thing for the country. It'll speed up growth, it'll create jobs and opportunity, and it'll lower the tax burden on the American people.
The bill's next stop is the Senate, where former Republican holdouts are now ready to vote yes.
When it comes down to your final vote, is our country better off having this once-in-a-generation opportunity for tax reform?
Senate Democrats see this bill as tax breaks for corporations and the wealthy, with virtually no reform.
This piece of legislation is the single worst piece of legislation I've seen in my time in the Senate.
Democrats are also concerned about the bill's provision of repealing the Obamacare mandate, which requires Americans to carry health insurance or pay a penalty. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
All right, let's focus on New York State now and all of you. So who are the winners and the losers here? Stephen Elwell from Level Financial Advisors will help you understand how you might be impacted. Everybody's situation is a little different. Let's get the bad news out of the way. Who is negatively impacted or could be if this bill is signed by the president?
So one of the major items that affects New York taxpayers is, we all know we pay a lot of New York income tax, higher than most other states. So if you have an abnormally large amount of New York income tax or miscellaneous itemized deductions, these are things that are being either capped or removed. So if you have a lot of those, you may not be able to take them anymore in 2018 and beyond, and that might negatively affect you tax-wise and negate the benefits of the other parts of the deal.
With everything you've read, who could benefit from this?
Well, the New York Times is estimating about 75% of us is going to benefit from this, so that's the majority of us. All the way from those who have kids with the increased or the doubling of the child tax credit and making a portion of that refundable will be helpful for lower income people. Middle income people will benefit from that, and upper incomes will certainly benefit from lower rates and wider brackets.
The Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center has a really clear graphic here. They say that people making on average from $50,000 to $75,000 a year will have about an $870 tax saving. Those making more than $1 million will have almost a $70,000 tax saving. Talk to me about the tax cuts. Are they all permanent, or is just the corporate tax cut permanent?
They are not all permanent. They will sunset after 2025, which means they'll revert back to what the code looks like today. They also have changed the way the inflation adjustment of brackets happens over time to effectively slow that, which means even if you revert back today, people who make the same amount today may actually pay more after 2025.
Yeah, I understand that the Tax Policy Center also predicted in 2027 the average tax cut would amount to just $160, and people making on average from $50,000 to $75,000 in a household could see their taxes go up in the next 10 years in some cases.
Absolutely possible with the sunsetting of the taxes.
And I know there's also concerns. The CBO is reporting that an estimated number of 13 million fewer people in 2027 could be covered by health insurance. So that's something we're watching. I know there's a lot of politics that goes into all of this. So
that's absolutely right.
Things could change in the next few years, but we appreciate your help and your advice. We'll see what happens tomorrow when they vote on this.
Thanks for having me. Glad to help.
Goes to the president's desk. Stephen Elwell from Level Financial Advisors, thank you so much again. Happy holidays to you.
You too.
All right, so the White House is now blaming a global cyber attack on North Korea. That WannaCry attack, remember that? It crippled hundreds of thousands of computers around the world in May. This didn't just affect people at home. The cyber attack hit schools, hospitals, and other businesses. Today, the White House said it's important to put pressure on North Korean government, but admitted there really isn't much they can do. At least 11 people died when a bus carrying cruise ship passengers to Mayan ruins in eastern Mexico flipped over on a highway today. At least 7 Americans are among the injured. Miami-based Royal Caribbean Cruises says that passengers from 2 of its ships have been involved in this deadly bus crash. The cause is still being investigated. Britain's BBC has ordered a full-length documentary of the Harvey Weinstein scandal. Dozens of women have accused him of sexual assault and sex trafficking. The film will include interviews with some of the actresses who have accused the disgraced movie mogul of sexual misconduct. The documentary is expected to air sometime next year. On the way at 5:30, a new state law takes effect today that could save kids' lives. That story's at 5:51. But first, one step closer to living up to its claim to fame, the birthplace of the hamburger. And then later on News 4 at 6, the prestigious award a Buffalo father received almost 2 years after his death.